Hello and welcome everybody to a brand new podcast called OCFTV. We're going to be outside the stadiums taking reaction. Oh wait, we've been doing this for over a year, haven't we?
What does OC stand for?
I think it's for Orlando City.
What's that?
Soccer team here in Orlando.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, most people haven't. Small market team. Anyway,
That was horrific.
apologies to everybody for the 3-month hiatus.
It's a 3.
Yeah, it's been about 3 months, but it's now December, and I think we've last recorded maybe October, maybe. Last one we did was you and I with the Collins, bud.
Oh, dear Lord. Yeah, that didn't even make it out. That was
Yeah,
so bad.
so yeah, definitely 3 months then.
Fun.
Yeah, life happens. Life gets in the way. All of us have started new ventures. Well, most all of us have started new ventures. One of us is just getting screwed by their old venture.
Who's that?
That would be you.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
Have you started a new venture of any type?
Oh yeah. It's called sports betting.
Oh. Which we still have the same sponsor, so quick word. All the major sports are in action this week with the college football playoffs ready to kick off. BetOnline is your #1 destination for all your sports wagering info, including news for pro football, the NBA, upcoming fights, and NHL games this season. Head to the website today to get in on the action and see all the updated odds for the week. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's promo code BELIEVE. BetOnline, where the game starts. Since we're back, I guess we might as well just talk about the entire season.
Might as well.
Yeah, the fucking roller coaster ride that it was. It was
really was.
like thinking back about it, like think back to the first week of the season, like the optimism.
Everybody.
You had all the new signings you were expecting.
Preseason, we looked good. Ojeda
Some
looked good in
people look
preseason.
like ass, like Rafael Santos.
Yep.
And we see how that turned around.
Yeah, like it's just a season of like reversal halfway through. Shit you never would have expected to happen just happened.
Like I feel like our playoff or our preseason lineup, if we would have talked about it then, our best lineup was going to be Pedro in goal, obviously.
Let's see.
Petrasso.
Petrasso at left back. Janssen, Antonio, obviously. Right back would have been Holiday.
Yep, Mikey. Yep.
Move into the midfield. We would have wanted to see Caesar, Mo, and
you can't say Cartagena.
no, we didn't. It wasn't Cartagena at that point in time.
I think we wanted Mo to play the 8, and we wanted Facundo to grow into the 10.
10.
And then Ojeda out wide, possibly.
Yeah, Ojeda on the right.
Yeah.
And then Angulo on the left.
Cara.
Didn't know about Duncan. It probably was
It was Cara up
I'm
top.
pretty sure I said start Duncan right away.
No. There's
Who
no
said
way.
that?
Nobody said anything about start
There's
Duncan
no way
right
we
away.
said Cara has to start.
No, I think we
both said
expected.
Enrique.
Yeah, we expected Enrique
That's
to come in.
He was a
and-
$3 million man
yeah.
from Argentina.
We expected Enrique to come in and do some things for us. So,
Shout out to him, though.
yeah.
Making the U23s, right? Or 21?
He's
One of
22,
those.
so.
One of those.
Then we proceed to decline.
Heavily. Yeah, let's get back to the start of the season up here.
We win the season opener.
I guess the Red Bulls 1-0.
Yep.
And then we go and draw 4 straight.
Yep.
Scoring 2 goals in those 4 games. 0-0 draw against Cincy. The first leg against Tigres 0-0 in Mexico. Come back, draw DC 1-1. That was a game where like we have to win this, and we drew. And then the home leg against Tigres was 1-1.
So the home leg against Tigres, we all at that point in time were like, this is the turning point for this team. They went over there, they battled, they got the 0-0, and then we came here and got a result, so to say, but the away goal rule ends up
Screwing us
over and putting us out. So against one of the top clubs in our conference, that's a result. So we all, I feel like at that point in time, we're like, this is it. this is the team. Kara with this ridiculous bike. Like, this is going to get him on a roll. Like, now he's going to build some confidence. He's going to start scoring.
Yeah.
And what happened after that?
We went. No, we didn't go. We stayed and played Charlotte.
Oh, we lost that one.
That was the most disappointing game of all time.
I think that's when the wheels started turning.
There was a crowd that started shifting more towards Poppy out. There was the crowd that stayed full on Poppy in, and then the divide started to happen.
Created by OCFTV.
100%.
Give us our credit where it's due.
We are the narrative creators, apparently.
We created that entire narrative. Nobody in the world wanted Oscar to get out until we said something about it, apparently.
Don't forget that we also hate the club and want the worst for it.
Yep. Shout out Derek.
This is true.
You never let us forget.
Yeah, so we go and lose to Charlotte. Ojeda scores in the 57th, but 2 goals before that from Enzo Capetti and I think it's Kerwin Vargas.
Yep.
26th and 37th minute. So we went down early, midway through the second half, 2-0. Couldn't call it back against what ended up being, I think, the
10th place.
9th place team. They got in the play-in playoff.
It's because of how atrocious the West was this year, too.
I mean, they're in the East.
No, I'm just saying, like, them even being, like, 10th overall, correct?
No. Overall, no.
No, in the East.
9th in the East.
My bad. Got you.
Yeah, 9th in the East. They had more losses than wins. So.
Fantastic. So, yeah, that happened. And then we continue to not look great. And we play Charlotte in the Open Cup.
Oh, who was it you?
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah,
and you.
sitting here doing the watch along.
Oh, it was just the best time ever.
Well, we did skip a lot of games in between there, but they're all win loss.
Yeah,
There you go.
it was just,
Mediocrity.
yeah.
Yeah, that Open Cup game was possibly the worst match of football I've ever seen in my life. It played at a little. It wasn't even a high school stadium. It was like a community park.
There was some soccer complex over there.
We had 11 shots. How many did we have on target?
0.
0. They had 6 shots, 4 on target, and 1
Who's
goal.
starting up top that game?
Duncan McGuire. Don't even give that look. Who started center back that game? Janssen and Schlegel.
Oh, shit.
Schlegel.
Nice.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like I remember that game being like a weird lineup for that phase, like that time. All right, sorry about that. We had some video
To
pulled a what's his name? Zion right there. We had some visitors pop in the studio, so we got a little distracted there. But we were just talking about the lineup against Charlotte in the Open Cup and how it was a little different at that time for us because what we expected, like we talked about our best lineup. But looking at that lineup now, we see a lot of regular starters for us come the end of the season. Dagger Dan being in there. He was in the midfield, but he's in that lineup. Duncan starting up top. Schlegel in the back line.
Araujo in the middle.
Yep.
Rafael Santos
in the lineup. So
it all came together eventually.
Oscar clearly toying around with different things and stuff like that during that time frame. And then post that game, it still didn't get great. Right? It was just...
It got better. The losses disappeared and turns into draws, and the draws turned into wins.
That was a away stretch.
That was against Columbus. We played Columbus once away,
Uh-huh.
and then that was a 2-2 draw. Then we came back and drew 1-1 against NYCFC in Orlando.
So this was the start of the turn.
Pretty much, yes.
Right, because we went and we drew NYCFC.
Mm-hmm.
We beat Atlanta.
Drew Atlanta. We
were up against Atlanta. I think we conceded late.
We conceded 86th minute.
And then we played Miami, correct?
We played Fort Lauderdale one match before Atlanta, and we won 3-1.
Okay, so this was the start of the redemption arc.
Because the Miami Fort Lauderdale game ended up being the turning point.
The turning point, correct?
Yep.
So, yeah, we could talk a little bit about that. obviously special to have that moment happen against the small little brother team. You know, being at that game was also really cool because for the first time that season we saw it click. It was like the first time that we went in there and just walked on a team. Now, granted, that Miami team was atrocious at that time, but any rivalry game, we know this across all sports, rivalry games are never givens.
Mm-hmm.
They're always tough, scrappy matches, and this was no exception, but yeah, the fucking piped-in crowd noise over the speakers to the printed TIFO that they've been using for the past 4 years. Like, it all was just a sham. And it was great to go in there and do what we did. I feel like that really gave this team a lot of confidence, too. Looking back on it.
Yeah, there's no way it didn't.
Like, we just walked into our rival's house and did what we just did. Like, we are that good. We can be that good. So, that game, can you look at the lineup real quick?
Yep.
Is that the first time that we saw, not first time per se, but like
the Araujo
Cartagena pairing?
So that's what I was just scrolling looking for. And the first time that I see it is against the Galaxy at home. FootMob has us in a 4-4-1-1 with Facundo playing right behind Cora. But in all reality, that's not what happened.
Right.
And Araujo and Cartagena were the two in the middle. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games before that.
Right.
So, but then there were games in between that in that stretch
it switched.
that it didn't happen. So the first time we saw it, I believe, was against the Galaxy at home.
Was that game Araujo Cartagena?
Yes, the Galaxy game.
No,
or the Miami game was, yes.
All right, so maybe I feel like that game was what cemented moving forward that this has got to be the pairing, because like to dominate the midfield to dominate that game like we did, but to dominate the midfield especially like we did, we hadn't seen that all year.
Yeah, then we've seen it 3 games straight. After that, maybe make it 4 against Colorado, maybe. Yep. 4. So yeah, right after that, it was boom. It was Araujo in that game against Fort Lauderdale. Araujo had an 8.6 rating on FootMob with an assist, and Cartagena had a 7.5. So they were playing really well.
Before that, what was the pairing?
It was Araujo and
midfielder of your choice,
or mainly Mo, because everybody wanted to play that 8. Facundo.
Okay.
Or it would be a 3-4-2-1 formation. So it was, no one could figure out what to do, especially Oscar in the beginning of the season tactically. And then we stumbled upon the 4-2-3-1, and we've been stuck with that. Not stuck, it's a good thing, but we've been hanging on to it ever since.
So this starts the Orlando City redemption arc, but it also starts the redemption arc of somebody that becomes so integral to the way that we play in this team, and that is Rafael Santos. That game and that goal flipped everything on his head for him. Like, remember watching him early in the season and being like, this man is so shit.
It was a New England preseason game where we saw him as like,
he did the
this guy's fucking trash.
A little slow ass roulette.
He will never see the field over Petrasso.
My fat ass could do a roulette faster than that man could.
I was still wishing we had fucking Emmanuel Moss back there.
No, I mean, at that point in time, I was like, why did we let this motherfucker go? None of our options are good.
Yeah, and now it makes sense. Like, he is... I feel like he is our best player going forward.
He creates so much.
He creates the most when he's out there.
Wait, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing when you have Facundo and Ojeda on your team? Because I feel like one of those two should at least...
They should, but the quality in his delivery is so consistent. It's insane.
So Facundo and Ojeda are technically, like, with their ability, more creative players, but the way we play and how the counter is so important to us being able to break presses and move the ball quickly, he is so important because he's that player that springs that. You know, he's the person that receives the ball in space and finds somebody to be able to do it. And then, you know, our midfield obviously has been incredibly important for us. that game we saw, like you said, the cementing of that midfield pairing and Cartagena becoming
what he is now.
Jesus. Like we talk about last year and early in the season, we were like Araujo.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the guy. He's gonna be gone, going to Europe. Like
I think he's staying here for a little while now.
And now it's like I would have rather had Cartagena at any moment. Like if we're gonna lose one of them,
let Araujo go. Not that you want him to go.
No, I mean if we're gonna have somebody go out with an injury or we're gonna miss somebody in that midfield, I'd rather see Araujo go. And it's no discredit to him because he still is a fantastic player and that pairing is phenomenal. But
Wilder's been something else.
Out of this world. I mean, aside from the probably goal of the season that he had, can we talk about the other one that got saved?
It was almost the exact same thing.
Yeah,
yes. The one that went in was just perfect top ins right in the corner. The other one a little bit off.
Been there.
Well, he also had 2 more goals this season as well. So, for somebody of his caliber scoring 3 times for us, like,
not bad.
Nope.
That was the same thing with Caesar. He would bring the assist. Did Caesar score? I don't know. He might have had one.
I'm telling you right now, I ain't from outside the box because that motherfucker doing warm-ups every time is the same shit. Caesar drags it wide.
Yeah, he did have 1 goal this year.
He did.
I do remember it being inside the box.
Wheeler only had 2. Apparently.
Could have sworn he had 3.
Which I trusted in football.
Yeah. I'm not arguing. I just feel like I remember a header and then 2 other goals. But
I don't know. Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, so like they said on the promo they put out, the Road Warriors brought it back home. We were the best team in the league, form-wise, points-wise, on the road. And then we become the most informed team in the league.
Yeah, we ended up finishing the season the best team in the league away with 31 total points. Next closest was Cincinnati at 28, and then in the West, Salt Lake at 28. So we were a match ahead of everybody away. And then home in the East, we ended up 9-5-3 with a total of 32 points. That was put us 7th in the league, or 7th in the East. Sorry, in home form.
That's still an issue.
Well, that slow start at the beginning of the season.
It all boils down to the start that we had where nothing was clicking for anyone.
Really only 3 losses. I say only, it shouldn't be 3. But from the way that we started to only have 3 losses and then 9 wins, 5 draws, I'm not mad at the turnaround that we ended up with.
I feel like there was another point in the season that really took us to like another level. And I think that was Dagger Dan going from maybe he would play a couple minutes here and there in midfield to a starting right back.
Starting right back, yeah. That was a big choice because Mikey ended up getting hurt, and then he lost his spot because of that.
We ran with Kyle Smith there for a while.
I love that man, but
it worked for a game or two. Like he looked decent.
It worked.
But then when he started getting inverted,
and
that's where the troubles came.
Until we started inverting, then Kyle Smithinho came out. We saw some techie football from him there for a little bit. He was doing some little skills. We got to see him get in the midfield and do some things, and then he got exposed. And
it's not his fault that he was asked to go play in the middle.
No, absolutely
he's not a midfielder, and it's the same thing almost with Trent. You ask him to go play in the middle. It's a much different spot on the field. You're not swiveling your head all the time. You're not looking over your shoulder and checking you have to be so aware to play in the middle of the pitch, and it's just a different position because if you're playing right back, there's never someone. 99% of the time, there's not a defender behind you trying to get the ball. In the midfield, there's someone trying to attack you from every which way. So it's just the awareness that's not implemented in your mind from playing that position for years on end. You can't really blame him for the performances. You'd want to see better, but you're a right back asking to invert to play. Sometimes we saw him in a 10 position.
Yeah.
He ended up on the top of the box, and it's just like, well, why is Kyle Smith where Mo should be or Facundo should be?
Yep.
And then we would lose possession. So it's been unfortunate for him, but Dagger Dan took what chances were given to him, and he did it really well. So.
Yeah, well, you're taking a natural midfielder, like you were just saying, and moving him into, that right back spot. And there's concerns, yes, about the defensive capabilities of somebody being in the back line. But we saw us adapt because we wanted to invert, and that double pivot, like we were saying, is so important. You were talking about Trent earlier, and Trent's also the perfect example for this case because Trent is an absolutely horrendous defender.
Pretty much.
Probably worst defender in the Premier League, only to beat out Harry Maguire.
That's the Premier League Player of the Month you're talking about.
Yeah, you better watch yourself.
I'm sorry, how do you help them out against Bayern? How'd that Champions League cameo go?
We actually won 3-1 because we had goal of the month.
Manager
of the month.
Oh, right, you won 3 trophies.
How did Ten Hag get Manager of the Month?
We won 3-0.
Against who?
Don't ask me. I'm just stating you what he won for.
Anyway, back to Maguire being a horrible defender.
Maguire?
Trent.
No,
Harry.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about
No.
I was like, why are you slating
No,
that?
Big Dunk's somebody else that we'll talk about next, I feel like, probably. We adjusted, so that's what I was getting. You see Klopp do it at Liverpool. He's an absolute horrendous defender, so you rotate over, you pivot people over, you have your 6 being able to jump outside. So we were able to start seeing Cartagena and Caesar really shine at what they do best, and that's just control and dominate.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the first game as to when Dagger Dan played it right back.
I think it was after the League Cup. We had a few.
Yeah.
This run of Kyle Smith at right back went way longer than I thought it did.
Oh, yeah.
Because we didn't have another spot at right back, and we didn't think at the time to put Dagger Dan in that position.
It was a 3-1 win against Chicago in Chicago, and this was on August 20th.
So latter part of the season.
Yep. Post Leagues Cup, August going into September. So that's when we started to see it, and then I think he put in a decent shift. 7-2. 16 out of 19 passes, 2 or 3 successful dribbles. Didn't have to win a tackle because he didn't try to perform a tackle, apparently. So that's great. 1 block, 1 clearance, 1 recovery. There you go.
Yep.
And from then on out, I believe we saw him right back. Yeah, because St. Louis came to town, and he was class that game. When we won 2-1, St. Louis had the red. Facundo with the brace. So then we started seeing Dagger Dan do his thing. Never looked back.
So, last thing I want to say on Dagger Dan before we move on to somebody else. Has he cemented himself in that spot for you? Because I see people talking about it on Twitter and stuff like that we need to bring in another right back and
I think Mikey stays healthy, we're fine.
I don't see the reason in spending on a right back personally.
I'd rather spend it at a 10.
Yeah. Like you said, Mikey stays healthy. He's a phenomenal backup option. He fits the mold better. We also still have Kyle Smith under contract, correct?
Or was he...
I don't think his option was declined.
It's Junior... I know there's 3 gone, but I don't think Kyle...
Junior, Mo, and Wilfredo Rivera.
Yeah, those 3.
So, we still have Kyle Smith. Obviously, he can slot in there in emergency situations.
Before we confirm that, hold on. Kyle Smith, option exercised, so yeah.
So, I don't see the need to sign another right back. I don't think we're going to get somebody of much more quality to play there for a reasonable amount of money. You know what I mean?
My thing is, like, you give him a full off season of training as a right back, and he's still, 23 or so?
Somewhere around
still
there.
A young player. Sky's the limit for him. Learning a new position in season, he did that well of a job, I think.
Yep.
He can only go up from here, honestly.
Continue to.
And I'm here for it. I love that man. He's gonna be sliding around like a little penguin in Calgary.
I mean, in my eyes, he didn't do a whole lot wrong at all last season.
No, I mean, people questioning his defense and stuff like that and saying that's why we need to bring somebody else in. And it's like I said to you guys, it's like I can't remember. I mean, probably there are a couple of goals that have happened throughout the season that were a result of him. But I can't remember anything that sticks out in my head that's like, this guy fucking sucks, and that's why this happened.
There was never really a moment of that. Yeah.
Usually there's something like Schlegel, like for example, Schlegel getting the second yellow.
Yep.
There's nothing that stands out that Dagger Dan did this or didn't do that. Like even if we do bring in another right back, he's going to have a tough time beating out Dan for that right back spot.
Especially if you want Dan to end up in the middle again and invert, then right now anyone on our roster, he's that perfect profile because he has the experience in the midfield and he's still improving defensively. It's not like he was bad. So he can do the job of right back. He can do the job in the middle and be a Swiss Army knife. Even at the beginning of the season, Oscar put him up right mid, right wing. So he even has that attacking ability somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see him stay for a good amount of time.
We also have Alex Freeman.
That is true.
Back in the academy. So
just training with Sporting Lisbon.
So I don't think if we spend on a right back, that's a bad
it'd be a
idea
waste.
for us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I do not disagree.
So somebody else that stood out this season and was huge to us doing what we did is our number 9 out of the draft yet again. Us striking gold in the draft with Duncan McGuire. Jeez.
There's no rookie of the year in MLS anymore. Yeah. It's
young player.
Young player
of the year.
Yeah. And newcomer of the year. Just new award created for Messi.
Did you end up ever thinking that Cara was going to be a newcomer of the year? Or am I making that up? Not you. You.
No.
Oh, really?
I don't fucking know. Maybe. Shut the fuck up. You know what's crazy about 5 teams passed on Duncan, and we even passed on it with our second pick
because we took Shaq Muhammad first.
That's crazy.
We just knew.
That's crazy.
To be fair, he's still somewhat of a raw product, and when you look at him play, you don't get the sense of great technical ability.
No.
And he's not the best technically, but he gets the job done in a very decent manner, and his finishing is pretty close to A1, if I would say so.
He's a perfect fit for the mold that Oscar wants there at that number 9. Don't need to be super physical, but you need to be physical. You don't need to be super fast, but you want to have a little pace on you.
He's got some pace.
But you need to work in an Oscar Pereira system. To be the number 9.
Who didn't work?
Shut the
I don't think that he didn't. He just couldn't.
It's a mix.
Like to be the number 9 in this system, you have to
run your ass off.
We're going to control the possession and control the tempo of the game, but not always by keeping the ball. We want to defend from the front. That's just how we've always done it. We're going to keep people pinned back against in their final third, not allow them to cross midfield. That's the way that Pereira systems operate. When we win the ball, we're going to do something with it. We'll keep the ball, we'll pass it around. When we don't have the ball, that guy up top has to be starting our attack, our defense, however you want to look at it. And we saw him score goals that way.
He scored multiple that way, if I'm not incorrect.
Yeah. So
it's so lethal when we press well because you've got Duncan up top who will run his ass off for days. You've got Angulo out left who will run his ass off for days and is fast as fuck. And then you've got Facundo who does his job. So when all 3 of them...
He knows where to be. He's in the right place at the right time.
He is. And when we press as a unit, it's so good. That's the only reason why we lost that game against Columbus. We didn't take our chances the first 15, 20 minutes.
That's true. I think Duncan McGuire, I know I'm looking at it, outperformed his XG tally by 7.4. He had 5.6 XG on the season and scored 13. So for him to be outscoring his XG by that much could be like you could look at it as a season of like beginner's luck kind of thing.
Yeah, no.
But the man just works.
No, it's just those are all effort goals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, obviously he's scored some goals that have been created for him,
as any striker should.
But those are effort goals. A lot of those are effort goals, and he needs to, and he's admitted to it. He needs to learn how to pace himself and control that effort. Can't be full go 100% for 90 minutes because you're a human. You're going to lose stamina. You're gonna get tired. But yeah, he was great for us this year. Very surprising. I don't think any of us would have guessed that this is he was the top scorer in college, correct?
Yeah.
But that doesn't translate to the professional level 100% of the time. So
I was gonna say the XG. If people look at it like beginner's luck, you gotta go back and like see what he did before coming into the pros, and he did the same exact thing. So it's just it's what he does, and he does it very well, and it it transformed or it progressed into the pros. So,
But it is something that he won't be able to do for his whole career. You age,
Bet.
you get older. I'll bet. You can't even do it now.
no, it's fair. He's not going to be the same explosive person that but he has time to develop other traits to be able to continue to compete. Like you said, it's a raw product. The kid, he's just stepping into real, actual development.
It took him could be deemed as a quarter of an MLS season because he didn't really play at the beginning to start attracting attention from Europe. If he continues to do this, it could be dear Lord, English is hard. It could end up being Daryl DK 2.0, Kyle Aaron 3.2. Whatever it is. So
it's not always a bad thing to draft these kids and then be a little older than these international products. We get stuff like that. I mean, you look at Matt Turner is the perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Somebody that was on the ESPN not top 10
for that goal in college,
and was on a bench and was an MLS journeyman. Now is starting every week in and week out in the Premier League. Like, that is the definition of development as a player. When you're a little older, you take these things more seriously, I feel like, and you eat up the knowledge that's being given to you rather than just being an 18-year-old signing your first contract at a professional team here in America. You're like, fuck this guy. I got here by myself. I don't need this guy. You're young. You're stupid. So he's going to develop a lot, and he's going to develop fast, I think. We're going to see a different Duncan McGuire next year.
I hope so.
So then do you want to... No, go ahead, sorry.
That playoff run was depressing, to say the least, from him.
So there's the 3 matches, no goals, no assists. Ended up with an average of a 6.2, 6.3 rating on FootMob. We saw those kind of same runs throughout the regular season to where he would go 3-4 games and not contribute really anything.
Right.
He would have the classic Cara 15 to 20 touch game, and that's it. But then he would come back and he'd go on a run of 3 or 4 games and then have a goal and assist, or in those 4 matches have 5 goal contributions. Shut up. So the consistency is something that I want to see change massively. Because if we keep going through those runs of inconsistency, it's going to become a problem, and then maybe the confidence gets shot. Hopefully not. But the consistency is a big thing.
I think it comes back to what he was saying, how he doesn't know how to save his energy and stuff. So playing at such a high level over and over again, and you put it all out on the field one match day, then you come back the next probably midweek games, and then you see him only get 12 to 15 touches, and he's not creating the opportunities he was pressing and stuff, what he did so well. So,
and I mean, we're gonna have a shit ton of games next year because we've got MLS, Leagues Cup. Are they doing that again?
The Leagues Cup,
Champions Cup, Leagues Cup.
Open Cup.
It's going to be the
we
same
got
amount of
4
competitions. Yeah, same amount of competitions we had this year.
Hopefully we get farther into
we
the
want
Champions
we
Cup.
want to go further in all the competitions. I don't know.
And he'll be starting
That's
at the
true.
beginning
Yeah.
too, so it's going to be a lot bigger load for him.
I think we see the consistency. I hope we see the consistency come this next season. He's got a full year under his belt. He's more accustomed to the league. He understands how he needs to operate as a professional. Because that's also another thing is like going from college to any professional sport. It's completely different. Because in college, yes, they're strict, they're rigorous. Like I've worked in the athletics departments. I've seen how these college kids operate. It's for real, but it's not a professional level because I've also gone out to the clubs and seen athletes out at the clubs and drinking and doing that kind of stuff. That doesn't happen at a professional level. Like when you're getting paid by somebody, you're not going out every Friday, Saturday to get drunk, especially here in Orlando.
I saw someone at a club once.
Once. But you know what I mean? Like maybe if you're Kylian Mbappe, you can get away with it. You know what
Kyle Laren on the other side of the road too.
I mean? So learning how to operate as a professional is a big part of that adjustment. And I think that he's got that under his belt now and he's going to be able to grow this next year.
Yeah.
You
I was going to say, get back into the end of the regular season schedule here.
Yeah.
We ended off with that St. Louis win in Orlando, where Dagger Dan started taking over his job. We're not going to talk about the Charlotte match that we drew and ended up not beating them once this season. But we are going to jump into the 6-match win streak that we had going into the end of the season, beating Montreal 3-0, Nashville 1-0. Orlando, I forgot our own team. Orlando 3-2, Toronto 2-0. So in that span of matches, those 4 before we hit the playoff games, was 2 goals conceded in 4 matches. And then we ourselves scored 4, 7, 9. So that was a good little run heading into the playoffs. We secured the 2nd seed in that run.
I'm glad we had that run too because we secured the Champions Cup with that too. Because we were sitting around like the fourth place, right, in the East for a little while, and we went on that end of season run and
popped us up in there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we started to see us play like we knew the team. We knew the team that we knew they were. You know what I mean? We saw them go out there and perform at that level that we expected at the start of the season, which is a little unfair. Obviously, start of the season you're going to be messing up, you're going to be adjusting and doing stuff like that. But this is that team that's the team that I love to watch. That Orlando team, that South American flair. Like we got the villains. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Go out there and just bully opponents, dominate games possession wise. Like it's fun football to watch. It's a long time. It's been a first time in a long time where it's like every game we went to, it was exciting to be there.
Yep.
So that's probably why we were so pissed off in the first third of the season, because this is what we knew we were capable of with the talent that we had. We just didn't see it out on the field, and that's where the frustration came from.
Yep. I would 100% agree with that.
Going back on that South American flair, whenever Messi comes to Orlando, Fort Lauderdale, I need to see Felipe starting out there, man.
No, yeah.
I don't give a fuck who spot he takes. I just want
You
him
put him in at
Mark
10.
Messi the whole fucking time.
Put him in at the 10 so that way we still have Araujo and Cartagena out there.
Say Araujo and Cartagena are living rent-free in Messi's head.
Just straight
all 3 of them.
4-3-3 with straight 6s across the middle. And all 3 of them are just kicking the shit out of Messi the entire game.
Classic 4-4-2 Brexit ball.
Yeah.
Play like it too. 2 foot them. Right in the knee. Done.
Don't even need to. Like we beat Outer Fort Lauderdale in the Open Cup.
Signed Big Sam as a
No.
consultation
It
coach.
was a league match.
Leagues Cup. No. The one that we should have won. That
Leagues Cup.
Messi should have gotten
Cup.
sent off.
Leagues
Leagues
Cup.
Oh, that was Leagues Cup. You're right. No, yeah.
We bringing Big Sam as a consultation coach for that game.
Him and Sean Dyche together.
It's just Oscar.
Yes.
Oh, that is terrorist football. My
is fun.
God. Oscar, Big Sam, and Sean Dyche. Whoa, you bring in Simeone just to make it the ultimate terrorist ball, and
that is horrific.
You imagine the team coached by that? They'd go undefeated, but they'd never win a game.
It's just a cartel at that point. You're done.
So you go down a man, it'd be Spurs against Chelsea.
It is just
having the 1-9 with
straight 0-0 draws for the entire season.
Then maybe we squeak out a few 1-0 wins.
Maybe.
Duncan gets those effort goals.
So the 1-0 is still on
Yeah,
the table.
That's very true. Or the 1-1 concede 90 plus 3.
Less of that.
not wood for that shit.
So we had that little run that got us into the secured the second seed for us and got us into the Champions Cup, and then the playoffs started.
No.
Yeah, isn't that good? Would you rather us not get into the playoffs? So
No. Honestly, I just want to say, every year I go in the playoffs, no hope. Fuck it. I know the same shit's gonna happen. This year, in the final 6 games, the final half of the season, I finally went into the MLS Cup, thinking we could actually do it. We should have done it, and then Schlegel.
So, Nashville first.
Yeah, we had the 1-0 win at home. Both of them were 1-0. Squeaked them both out. Really.
They were very different 1-0s.
The second
the one at home was a convincing 1-0 in our favor.
But Nashville still had chances to finish.
Well, of course, because it's Hani Mukhtar.
And
He's pulling up from just inside halfway, and it's maybe going in. They had a couple opportunities. They are a good football team. It is the playoffs. You're not playing anybody of the caliber of Charlotte in the playoffs.
Technically, someone played Charlotte.
Well, you saw what happened to them, though. They got 5-0'd, right? I'm pretty sure that was it. Against Red Bulls.
Yeah,
it was bad, was it? Yeah, and then Red Bulls got 4-1 on aggregate in 2 legs.
So that's what like, when you get to this point in the playoffs, you're not playing a shit team, or you are the shit team.
What are you doing?
Just depressed. So it was like I was saying, 2 very different games. The away leg, much more nervy.
But the home leg, 25 shots to their 7. But we had 25 shots and had to rely on a cracker of a goal to go up 1-0. So we had 24 other opportunities to score, but we couldn't.
Honestly, that goal deserved to be alone.
Yeah.
Deserved to be highlighted.
Yes, but at the same time,
it's not great.
24 shots, you have 1 big chance. They had 7 shots, 2 big chances.
Got the job done. Like, that's all that really matters, if we're being honest.
Does that not... If that was United, you're like, really? That was...
You know what that screams?
A win's a win.
Do you know what that screams?
Yes.
Pareja ball.
Pareja ball is not 25 shots.
And Facundo selling.
Pareja ball with this team. With him, with this talent and stuff like that. Because we saw it all year long. Where we're not putting shots on target. We're not capitalizing on our opportunities. We're squeaking it out 1-0, 2-0. I mean, obviously, squeaking it out, we were convincing in a lot of these games, but we didn't capitalize on our opportunities. If we would have had a better XG this year, if we would have actually performed to our XG this year, we probably would have had like 200 goals.
I think we might have outperformed our XG.
So we would have put more shots on target is what I meant.
Yeah.
We probably would have had 200 goals this year. We had
50.
25 in one game. I mean, shit.
Yeah, I mean, we had 1.2 XG. They had 1.2 XG. We had over 3 times the amount of shots. Bit unfortunate. To only be 1-0, but a win is a win. And then we moved on to Nashville. In Nashville, and that game was definitely a different story from what we saw. We still outshot them. We had more XG, but it was a little bit scarier of a match to watch, I would say.
It's just kind of shite. Like, think about going back to the goal. Angulo's
It was
just kind of shit.
That was an MLS goal at its finest.
Yeah. And aside from that, I
Deflection
don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember a lot happening for us.
Nope.
It was kind of those like sit back. The goal goes in. Sigh of relief because
6 minutes in.
And now we get to watch the Poppy special happen in all its glory.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it was.
Did you have to use the word glory?
I mean, it worked for last 6 games of the season.
Those really weren't Poppy specials, though.
Those were just poppies.
Those were just specials.
Yeah, just
You could have picked 2 words in that sentence, and you picked the wrong one.
Those were just dads.
Yeah, so Dispatch, Nashville.
Good feeling.
Yeah, whole lot of. That's becoming a rivalry very, very quickly, and it's because those dumb, ignorant rednecks out there think they know football.
Wow. That escalated very quickly.
Yeah, I'm talking about Denzel. 100%.
He's still living in your head rent free.
No. Well, just because we were talking about Nashville, it reminded me about.
Yeah. No, even in the away leg for us, 1.25 XG to their 0.37, and we still outshot them by 6. They outpassed us by 37 passes.
I mean, I feel like every team that plays Nashville is going to outshoot them. They don't really attack a lot. They're the definition of a fucking Poppy special. Every game of the season's Poppy special.
I don't know enough about them to make that statement about them.
They're the most American soccer team I can think of.
Oh.
I just don't think that's true, sir.
What?
They had 23 shots to New England's 13.
So
New England was in shambles later on in the season.
They're just for me, they're just like the most, like I said, dumb redneck team. Especially because, I don't know if you saw the news today, but they traded away roster spots for allocation money. So they're basically just saying, fuck international players. It's just
Dax McCarty coming back for his 39th year in the league.
Look, that's what I'm saying. The dumb redneck team. It's just like, nah, we don't need them damn people from outside America. We've got ourselves some beer here.
Where the fuck is this going?
Fuck Nashville. It's becoming a rivalry. That's where I went.
Yeah, but it's been a natural rivalry.
It's grown, and I'm here for it. You know, it started out just being like a good rivalry because it was always just good games between us, and now they've become very chippy and a lot of trash talking. You're right over there.
Yeah, we're back.
So yeah, then we go to.
No, I don't want to talk about it.
Colorado. Or
Colorado.
Columbus.
Colorado made the playoffs.
Hey.
This league's got a problem.
Hey, I'm just saying, Colorado's got a new start with Chris Armas.
Oh.
Bringing the United football heritage, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so
Looking good.
Columbus.
Ended up with a total of 6 cards for us. And that almost kind of tells the story of the game. Because it was horrific. Just from all aspects, really. Finishing, not taking our chances, and then the Schlegel red was just to cap it all off, really. That was it.
Yep.
What day was that? What was the date on that?
That would have been Saturday, November 25th.
Mm-hmm.
So, the MLS Cup final was played Saturday, November 25th.
One could say. We still lost it, though.
Yeah, but the Cup was played that day. Let's just, in all reality, we were the only team that could compete with this Columbus team. Everybody else got washed.
LA did all right.
They did not.
They got shit on.
They looked like hot shit.
I didn't really watch the game, so I was just saying shit, to be honest.
I understand it for banter point, but no. They got washed. Cincinnati got washed. They played who before us? Red Bulls?
No.
Not Atlanta.
Atlanta. Yeah, and Atlanta is hot shit. So
Well, they took him to 3 games, no?
No.
It was
yes, because
Yeah, it
they
was,
had
yeah.
that special game back at
Mercedes-Benz.
Mercedes-Benz.
It was
So I'll say we were really close to playing Atlanta here for that playoff game.
Yeah.
It was a Columbus 2-0 win, an Atlanta 4-2 win, and then a Columbus 4-2 win. That was a series and a half.
So yeah, perfect example for why the 3-game series is stupid, because everybody who should have won those games won them. Whether it took them 2 games or 3 games, the better team won every single time, just like they would have done if it was 1 game.
Sporting
Yeah.
Kansas City was only one, but
Say low key. Didn't
But
St.
Sporting
Louis
Kansas
get knocked
City,
out in
no.
the first round?
yeah,
By SKC.
By SKC,
okay, yeah.
but SKC was hot going into the playoffs. They started out
better.
as shit. They had a terrible beginning of the year, but they really picked it up going into the playoffs.
They lost to St. Louis 4-1 September 30th. Then win on pens. What was that for? What was a win on pens? That was a playoff game against San Jose. Interesting. And then they beat St. Louis 4-1, and then they beat St. Louis 2-1, and then lost to Houston 1-0.
So
They did, yeah.
they got hot going into the playoffs. They were really informed. They were a sleeper team for, pulling some upsets, and they did it. But there was no, like I said, no team in this playoff competed with Columbus like we did. And to be honest, we could have and should have won that game.
100%.
We could have.
Based on that performance, we should not have won that game.
Yeah. The lack
Should
of discipline
we-
was horrific.
Should we have, based on the entire season and who we were going into that playoffs and up until that point? Yes.
We had to have been a favorite to lift the cup at that point.
I mean, even the chances that we had, I think we should have won based off of those chances. Like, you'd think the one Facundo skied inside the box, like
Right.
yard or 2 in the box, should have put that away, or at least on target, trouble the keeper. Kyle had one that we were forgetting about that he probably should have put away. Ojeda's at the end of the game.
A little bit tougher, but yes.
Inches.
Trouble the keeper, at least on that.
Yeah.
So, definitely wasn't our best performance. And going down a man does us absolutely no favors. Then going down a goal and a man. Like, realistically, that's a 1-0 game, That second goal is just because we are trying everything we can, and Pedro is way outside of his...
Doing his thing up there, apparently.
So
a question about Oscar. Going into the second half, having Schlegel on a yellow card.
Stupid.
I said he should have been out at
fucking
half.
stupid.
Yeah, I agree.
He was across the stadium, and we had the same,
Conversation, yeah.
he's going to do something fucking reckless in the second
And
half. He has to go off.
It's not even that you had we're going to put in Thomas Williams. We're talking about Antonio Carlos. I feel like it's just, it shouldn't have even been a decision. You shouldn't have to think about it.
I'm 100% with you. The only thing that I can say, I guess, in his defense is, as a player, how hard it is to come up to the speed of the game. And especially at center back, when that pairing is so integral, it can disrupt a lot of things.
If there's positions in a match that you don't want to change, it's your center backs. Those are the two that you don't take out of the game at all. Striker, you can interchange, they get tired.
Yeah.
But the center backs, the chemistry and the communication that come from that position, it is integral. So to change it, it's a tough decision. But when you're bringing in Antonio Carlos
That's where I was
for a Rodrigo Schlegel on a yellow card, that 10 times out of 10, you should be doing that.
It's not like you're bringing in, like we were saying, a Thomas Williams who's never really played with Robin Janssen. Like, we're talking about Antonio Carlos, who's played multiple seasons alongside Robin Janssen and over half this season alongside of him. So,
yeah.
Say 6 months ago, if you told me that Antonio Carlos being subbed in for Rodrigo, I would say, what are you fucking talking about? Why is Antonio not starting?
what are you
Like, that should have been a no-brainer. Like you said, the chemistry, whatever it is, that's our best center back pairing, probably
Yeah.
of all time, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So you would think in Oscar's mind that's an easy decision to make, right?
I just don't. It baffled me in the stadium. Whoever I was sitting next to, I said it too. I think I texted you, you texted me, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we definitely didn't have to be the only ones in the stadium thinking that at that point. So, for it to not even be an option, I believe the second yellow happened 77th minute? 77th minute. So we got through 32 minutes of the second half. At that point, 65th minute max, and then you bring them off because it's 0-0 at that point. Yeah, it's 0-0. You can bring Schlegel off, get Antonio on, and then you do your other subs. So you're not playing with a center back on a yellow in what ended up being the end of our season, the last match, a crucial match to go even farther. But it kind of goes back to the late subs, and that's a thing that's always been a problem with Oscar, and he fixed it for a couple games, but it's still in his system. Every manager has a problem with it, but in others it's more prominent than others, and you pay the price for a decision like that, and unfortunately it ended our season.
Do you think it came down to that decision or the lack of the decision being made because he overthought it? You see it happen to managers in big games. You know what I mean?
Can overthink a UCL final, then Oscar can overthink an MLS playoff game.
I feel like
Chelsea.
personally, I feel like that might have been what happened. Like he just overthought it, and it's like we just said. He's like, well, if I bring in Antonio, does it disrupt that entire back line where we're already seeing threats and we're already under pressure? Like, does bringing Antonio in is he not going to be able to keep up with the speed of the game? And now he's a liability. And
But you also, on the other hand, you've got to think of Rodrigo has this in the system. It's as a habit of his that he's reckless. You can't have that happen in one of the most important games of a season.
And the further it gets, like the further the game goes along, players are going to be tired. Spaces are going to open up.
Lazy tackles.
It's just
like I'm looking back on our text. Zach texted me, said in the 40th minute they should put in Antonio. He
40th
said,
minute.
Yeah, you said in the 40th.
Me now.
I said bring him on after halftime because I feel like that'd be a decent place for him to start.
I think I had a conversation in the bathroom with a few people talking about bringing on Antonio.
Yeah, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here and provide a different perspective, but I'm 100% on the same boat as you guys. Is that he shouldn't have been on the field in the second half. It's too much of a liability.
You can't be worried about the chemistry, or if he's up to speed. Rodrigo is rash in his challenges sometimes, and even if even if Antonio isn't fully up to speed right when he comes into the match, it's better than a Rodrigo on a yellow who is rash and ends up getting sent off in the 77th, and we're down to 10.
Because that's literally all it takes, a ball over the top. Rodrigo's got to pull his man down.
Yeah.
As stupid as a challenge it is, that's on Poppy for not subbing him out.
So the only question I have for you guys, and it's only something we can speculate, but we see this is a theme for us in the playoffs, getting cards in these big moments and not having the composure. We see that play happen in the regular season, right? Rodrigo lets him run. He doesn't pull him down on a yellow already. He doesn't pull him down, and he allows Robin to try to slide over him and put pressure on him. How many times do we have to see Pedro come out and make that stop? And how many times does he make that stop?
That was my thought. Like Pedro would have gotten to that if
right.
Rodrigo
so we see that all the time. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. It happens a lot in the regular season. We just don't make that stupid challenge. We trust in the players behind us to be able to make that play. So what is it about us? I mean, I guess it's the big moment, but what is it about us that we get into the playoffs and it's like now Rodrigo doesn't trust that Pedro is going to make that stop?
Your mind's going a million miles a second.
Yeah,
especially him, like in his movements. Like usually someone's composed if they're like looking all around, but Rodrigo, it's always like like every time you watch him on camera, it's like he's not in control.
Take
and
a breath.
Yeah.
It's very erratic.
It's like he's on hyperdrive.
Yeah, I'm just not even saying him. It's back to, who won 2 years ago, getting the red card. Like, it's a theme for us in the playoffs, and it's, to me, especially in this moment, it comes down to us not trusting the players that are around us and feeling like we have to do something in that moment.
Mo got sent off.
Yep.
At some point also.
Yep.
That was frustration shit.
But you got to be composed. Like, in that scenario, you got to be composed.
So that's it comes down to us lacking the composure in big moments.
Composure and discipline. It's the same thing in Chelsea.
Well, and
Gallagher and Reece sent off. 2 captains sent off back-to-back match weeks.
No.
Well, and that's the thing too. Is like we're
It's not
talking
safe
about Mo
space.
getting sent off, and it's like that's somebody with Champions League experience. You should know better.
Not to bring it back to Chelsea again, but I'd say Reece is one of the calmer, more composed players that you see. He never shows a lot of emotion when he scores. He celebrates, but everything else, I feel like whenever you see him, he's straight face.
Yeah.
So for him to do that is the same thing as Mo. Like, Mo can't show that frustration because he is that experienced player.
Well, if Reece James smiles, it causes other muscles to work,
Oh,
and then it shuts out.
Well, so that's what I was just about to ask. Can you even say he's a Chelsea player anymore, or is he a Cobham player?
He is a part of the organization.
Because he spends more time at Cobham than he does with the first team.
Thumbs up.
You can't argue it.
Nope.
But back to Orlando City. It's just we have to get over that hurdle.
And not to be the Debbie Downer, under Pareja, we have not what?
Under Pareja.
Yeah,
Okay,
like
I thought you said
when he was a
Andres
manager
Pareja.
of Orlando City, yes, he's brought us to the playoffs every season. But then the same thing happens again.
No, I agree.
I want him here, but I just need to see that next step.
So
It was a 2-year contract extension that he signed. So we have minimum 2 years.
is it official? I don't think it's official, but yeah.
But from sources and everything,
I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss something.
no.
There you go.
I was going to say, if it stays the same, we get knocked out first, second round of the playoffs the next 2 years.
That's in the future. We'll worry about that when it comes around, and I'm gonna give my faith in him. What I want to focus on now is what do we get? What does he need to become better? You know what I mean? Like, we see his deficiencies and we see issues that he has. So now, how can we as an organization help him become a better person, a better manager?
Give
Hopefully.
him unlimited whiteboards on the sideline,
Bring the
back the
stopwatch.
stopwatches, and a number 10.
Say, hopefully, we got one of those today. I'll just say is confirmed now. The signing of
Wielder.
Yeah.
Wilder for 2 years now through 2025,
Yep.
which is
2025.
fucking huge for us.
Yeah, that's huge. We needed him to come back. That's the most important player for our team currently.
Do not disagree.
Yeah, getting him a number 10 because we love Mo. He's a club legend, but we really need somebody in those moments that steps up, demands to be on the ball. You know what I mean? Creates those chances, scores those goals in those moments that we need. So I feel like bringing him somebody like that would be huge to us elevating our game to the next level. What else do you think we need? A winger? A left wing?
Someone on left, yeah.
All the respect, love Yvonne. Great depth option for us, but you need production from that spot.
100%. I mean, if we can get him to stay, but have him come off the bench, that
Him
would be
against
fucking
tired
amazing.
legs.
Is Ojeda not someone that you can see getting more minutes starting out left? Because he does have that production with the assist. Not so much the goals, but he creates chances.
So for me, it comes down to who can we bring in at the 10 spot, if we can bring somebody in at the 10 spot this offseason. Do we find somebody quality enough to be able to be like, this is our guy? or do we see Facundo or Ojeda take that spot?
That's
now?
one of the because I feel like both of them want to play through the middle. So, but if you bring in a natural number 10, and then you force Facundo and Ojeda out wide, and you have to play into Duncan, and you have 3 options to try to get Duncan the ball.
4 with Santos running up.
Yeah, then I don't know how your attack can get much better other than having Cristiano Ronaldo at 28 up top. Like, that's a bit of a stretch, but you got to bring in a natural number 10 and then have the discipline to say, Facundo, Ojeda, you're staying out wide. And you can cut in and create the chances that way, but the middle of the pitch belongs to whoever that signing would be.
Yeah. Would you not? I mean, I guess it's technically not a natural number 10 if you say it. If that's what you're looking for, but I feel like somebody that would fit the way that we play is somebody that plays like the style of like a Martin Odegaard. You know what I mean? Where he'll control the middle, but he will also slide out to the wings to be able to allow for Saka, Martinelli to do what we know they can do, and that's cut in and create. So would you like to see that profile number 10 come in, or would you like to see a classic number 10?
Give me a classic number 10.
Yeah.
Let Facundo, if you're going to tell Facundo and Ojeda to stick out wide, let them stick out wide.
Does that detriment their game? No.
I mean, nothing's ever going to be perfect.
I'm just asking questions, because to me personally, bringing in a number 10 that's going to be able to drift and do those types of things is going to be a better addition to our team than telling 2 of our players that have performed and done things this way now for a certain amount of time, you're going to stay outside, because we know Facundo doesn't have a right foot.
So that's why you throw him on the right and he cuts in.
But how often does he cut in and he has the opportunity to take the shot, but he never does?
He's got to learn somehow.
Well, I mean, we've been saying that for a year now, right? And it still hasn't happened.
I don't know.
I'm not saying that he won't do it, but
yeah,
It's flash, but then when he does have that ball and he does cut in, he has like 3 players on him because Mo's nowhere near the fucking box. If you have that number 10, it just opens up a whole lot of space for other players.
My only concern is I just don't think Facundo's good enough technically to be that player, to be like, you're staying out wide and you're taking this guy on and you got to make something happen, you know?
He's got to be one of the better technically gifted players in our squad. Who else?
I'm just saying I don't think we have that player in our squad.
Well, if there's someone, it's
Smithinho.
true.
One other spot that I really feel like we need to address in this offseason, and I know you guys do too, center back. Picking up the option on Antonio Carlos was great to demand that fee, you know, not to just let him walk. Good business. Love that from the club. Definitely going to miss Antonio, but this is an opportunity for us to sign somebody special here, I feel like, again.
Oh, Thiago Silva.
No, I don't want some old.
For someone who has legs.
Give me a 25-year-old.
100%. I just wanted to replace the Brazilian.
Go get a 25-year-old Brazilian center back.
Yeah, I'm not taking Thiago Silva.
Yeah,
I'm
you
sorry.
know,
I'm not
Gabriel,
either.
sorry.
I would sell my season tickets.
To get Thiago Silva here.
No, if we brought in
Gabriel.
Oh, yeah, okay.
No.
I wouldn't, but if I ever
So
saw
now our
that,
camera's dead, Dave?
With you.
No, that one's. We've been going for like 9 years.
Yeah, so might as well just wrap it up for the episode.
Thiago Silva would kill the MLS. Still,
I think the MLS would kill him.
If he's still competing in the Prem,
If Chiellini's still doing it.
that's fair.
Chiellini's different.
Yeah, he is different because he tried to play volleyball while he was on the pitch. So we're gonna end up We're gonna wrap this episode up. No, I was talking to you.
Camera. Oh, why would I do it?
Exactly. We're gonna wrap the episode up here. We're happy to be back. Hopefully, we stay more consistent. It is the off season, so if you want to see any sort of content, let us know. You can follow us on Instagram at OCFanTV, Twitter at OCFanTV22, TikTok at OCFanTV. Threads is still kicking about, OCFanTV. We do have a Facebook now. Orlando City Fan TV.
Your bums didn't get us to 500 subscribers.
That's on us.
So
we stopped uploading. That's on us.
Yeah.
But yeah, YouTube, like it, notify, or turn on those notifications. Send it out to your friends.
Let us know. Let them know that we're back. Shout out to BetOnline for sponsoring this video. I don't got anything else.
Use that code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus, and it's not spelled like believe. So look
BLEAV.
Look us up on that website.
Correct. Thank you. Have a good night. We'll see you later.